5:32, Wednesday, St. Patrick's Day, March 17th. It is, let's see here. We'll go ahead and call to order. Roll call, Mr. Booker.
Here.
Mr. Lindmark.
Here.
Mr. Neighbors.
Here.
Ms. Gorel.
Present.
Mr. McCarthy.
Present.
And Ms. Red.
Present.
All right, we do have a quorum. Let's see here. I'll move to approve the minutes from October 1st, October 15th, and November 19th, 2020. And I so move.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes, corrections, deletions? Hearing none or seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, the minutes are approved. Mr. Thompson, anyone?
No, Mr. Chairman. No. Bert, you're frozen.
Am I frozen? Can you hear me? Let me just pause my video. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. So we've been having troubles with this Zoom here, it seems. So I apologize if for some reason I get lost. If Mr. Booker can go ahead and take up the meeting, that would be great. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with our first item. It's a resolution for approval of an in-house position of Winnebago County Criminal Justice Council Administrator. And I so move.
Okay.
Second by Mr. Lindmark, Mr. McCarthy. Discussion, Mr. Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This item is a resolution recommending and authorizing the transition of the function of the CJCC, which is the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, from R1PC to Winnebago County Administration, along with the staff person that is currently performing that function on behalf of Winnebago County at R1PC. Her name is Marlena Dokken. She's been the CJCC coordinator on behalf of Winnebago County for approximately 2.5 years at R1PC. And that is the transition of that program over to Winnebago County. This has been discussed at the past 2 Finance Committee meetings of Winnebago County, and the Finance Committee has approved the transition of Marlena Dokken over to Winnebago County, along with the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council Executive Committee and the full council met on this last week and has also approved the transition. And I'm present to answer any questions the committee might have. Ms. Dokken is also in attendance this evening, along with Chairman Shirelli, who has been a leader with this effort as well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Any questions from the committee members, either for Mr. Thompson, Chairman Shirelli, or Ms. Dokken? Ms. Red?
Yes. I missed the last meeting. I'm just a little bit concerned here because I need to see some diversity, and I'm not seeing that. So can someone explain to me what this position entails, please?
Thank you, Dorothy. I appreciate the question. I'm going to let Marlena explain a little bit about the CJCC and potentially even address the issue of diversity through the grants that Marlena is responsible for, and the program itself, and how we try to weave diversity through the entire criminal justice system for Winnebago County. But I'm going to let Marlena address your question. Thank you, Dorothy. Marlena?
Thank you. Just an overview, the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council was established in 2017 from a partnership with the state of Illinois and the Illinois Criminal Justice Information Authority and Loyola University to develop criminal justice coordinating councils throughout the state. So we applied and we were one of 5 that won a competitive grant application process, and we formally established in 2018. What we do is we have the executive level leadership working on priorities in the criminal justice system. Currently, we're working on bail bond research and dashboard expansion. And I'm working on a partnerships and strategies to reentry, a separate council for that. But the goal is to connect the county with the state and coordinate the services with all criminal justice system partners, county, state, local, parole, working with IDOC, and just connecting all the partners for alignment. That's the overall goal. Some things that happen within it, some getting into the weeds, grant writing. Since 2018, I believe I've won just about 3 million in grant applications, and those were either written by myself or I led those grants, which means I was the primary writer. We're working on sequential intercept mapping, which is with the criminal justice system and community providers to develop a better system to address our individuals with mental health and behavioral health issues at each intercept of the criminal justice system. That's also grant funded. So a lot of things that I do is I look for grant funding, even if it's just technical assistance to help us do work better. And that was one of those opportunities. So that's another project that we're working on. But we're working with the state of Illinois on the new legislation to get a better understanding on that. And we had a great meeting last week. We had one of the writers of the legislation, and as well as our own criminal justice system partners. And we worked out a relationship and a coordinated system with Representative Dave Vella, who's going to make sure that all of our concerns get to the committees, because there's several committees working on things that they're calling trailers, which are adjustments and tweaks. So different criminal justice system partners are submitting their thoughts, and we're getting it handled that way, which is how we envisioned the criminal justice system to work in the beginning. Is most of the policy happens at the state level, but the actual activity is happening at the community level. So the state wanted to partner with us in a better way. Now that was done under the previous administration, but the new administration has indicated that they're also interested in criminal justice coordinating councils, and they want to expand to include more. So we've had Lieutenant Governor Stratton's staff in our meetings, and they're impressed with what Winnebago County is doing. So we want to do more of it.
Okay, I have several questions, but I don't know if this is the proper time to ask those. So you're saying that
Okay.
most of this is happening at the community level. Okay, bring me up to speed on that, please.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that the legislation happens at the state level, but the activities happening at the community level. The
Right.
actual crime is happening at the community level, and the response to the crime happens at the community level, yet the decisions are made at the state level. So the state had a desire to partner with communities better. And they thought that a good way to do that would be through establishing criminal justice coordinating councils throughout the state. So we're one of 5. and they intend to develop more throughout counties throughout the state.
Are there staffs that works underneath you?
Not right now, but there was. We did have a focused deterrence program that we did run out of funding. We had a staff person that it was an excellent program, and I'm still in touch with her, and I'd love to bring that back. I know that it was something that the community really liked. The participants in the program really liked it, and we're disappointed to see it go. So I've been looking for funding for that ever since.
Thank you.
Great. Ms. Red, any other questions?
I have lots of questions, but I'm not going to ask them now.
Excellent. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ms. Red. Any other questions from the committee members? All right. Hearing or seeing none, Marlena, thank you for the work that you do. Oh, is that Mr. Neighbors?
Yes.
Yep. Please go ahead.
So the council does, when it plans with the state or coordinates with the state, does it help coordinate, like we have the new legislation with the police reform thing? Does it help coordinate those things as
Yep.
well? So how does that work?
Well, that's just actually starting, and that's one of the things about the criminal justice system is you can create a strategy and you can put together all kinds of maps, and then the state or will come down with new policy. So everything you just did is out the window and we're rewriting it. So what we do, we can respond to needs and the legislation and things that come. And right now, what we're doing with this new legislation is that we've recently started working with Representative Vella, who's going to be taking any concerns to the correct committees at the state level. And one of our CJCC members just, submitted a memo yesterday, and we're working on a process with his chief of staff so that it gets to the right committees at the state level.
Okay. And this is a question for.
And another thing, I'm sorry, but another thing that I think is important is working with, it's really important that we know that in Illinois that parole and probation are two separate things. It's not that way in every state. Some states it's one system, but here it's two. So that can lead to some confusion and problems for individuals who are in the system. So our focused deterrence program actually worked really close with probation and the Department of Corrections. And the navigator worked right side by side with the parole agents and the probation officers to help the individuals get the services that they needed. So that was a model that proved to be very successful in a lot of different ways. So I think that, by filling in the gaps of things that we don't have is what we need to do. And one of those is making sure that we hire, if not we, but the community works to make sure that individuals get the services that they need. And we developed a program that works for that, and that's hiring navigators and getting them to the services. So that worked out really good.
Thank you.
The other thing was for the chairman. It seems the criminal justice in the title of the resolution or the top of the resolution, when it reads the resolution approving in-house the positions of the Winnebago County Criminal Justice Council coordinator was missing out of there. So I don't know if we need to we probably need to correct that.
All right. Yeah, we'll take a look at that. My screen froze up here, so I can't go down or up here on this. Yeah, we'll make sure that's right before we pass that at county board next Thursday. Thank you, Mr. Neighbors. Did you have a follow-up, Mr. Neighbors? Okay, appreciate it. Thank you. Any other questions from committee members?
I don't have a question. But I would sure like to thank her for giving us all this information. I had no clue something like that was going on within our Justice Department. So it's always nice to have those who are involved to come forward and explain to us, not only explain to us, but tell us about the fact that you exist. And so seeing that you exist and that you have an explanation of what you do and how you do it, I think is very important to us to know, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ms. Coral. Mr. Lindmark.
Thank you. How would we know what resolutions you're working on the new police reform law that you're trying to get changed? Is there somewhere we can go to look at what's being discussed, or?
I think I can. We're going to be in the process of moving the website over. So the only document, we just had our meeting last week and I only have one document, so I can find out if I can share that. And if I can, I will. But I'll ask if I can share it. I always ask first because sometimes it's just throwing thoughts down on paper. It's not what I have isn't a resolution, it's a request. You know, it's a request to look at this, you know, page 645 says line 25 says this. It's quite a lengthy document, and you know, they're just trying to pour through it because in the criminal justice system, when you're looking at an arrest, and as you probably know, or you know, in the state's attorney's office, one word makes a difference. So the way that it's written, while some people might think it can be fixed on the back end, it has to be fixed before it's implemented, or there's going to be a problem for somebody. And there's just little things like that they're trying to go through and address.
Thank you. I was just interested. There's some things in there that I strongly disagree with. That's my opinion, but I think it's bad for our county. And one more thing, thank you so much for working to the grants and getting that money available and being on tonight. Very informative.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Lindmark. And we will be addressing this criminal justice reform bill here in the coming weeks, just so that we can come up with amendments and work with Marlena's office to try to come up with some great amendments to this bill. So appreciate it, Mr. Lindmark. Any other questions from committee members?
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I think Mr. Thompson am I correct to say 80% of the salary comes from the county, then the other 20% from the city?
Yeah, approximately. There's the county had been contracting with R1PC, paying $20,000 a year. And then also the city of Rockford had contributed $10,000 towards the cost of the program, and the city will continue to fund that. And we will terminate our contract with R1PC. So that will show as an offset to the cost.
Okay, and I'll share this too, that I'm rather enthused here about other grants and other avenues that the county would be able to access once this position is full. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. McCarthy. Chairman Shirelli, is there anything that you would like to add?
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Girl. This has been a priority of this administration since I've been sworn in, to bring to light all the issues with the criminal justice system, with our external partners. And everybody here now, I believe, knows that we've been funding the CJCC at a certain level. And as Angie Goro said, doesn't even understand what they do or how they do what they do. And I think by this transition of moving over to the county, we will be able to better grow the CJCC with alignment with our county board members, creating better policy from the work they do with Loyola University and all the other council members, because we are the criminal justice system, Winnebago County. So I think it's prudent for all of us to understand that that's a major issue in our community, and to have the caliber of Marlena Dockin running this for the last 2 years, and very little people know about this. It's a hidden gem that we've got to be able to bring to light and grow it further. So I'm very proud of the county board is accepting this, because it's going to definitely help the county board by creating policies and to bring light to all the issues within each department of the criminal justice system, to how we can better the criminal justice system for all people. So I'm very proud of this. I'm glad this is moving forward. So thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Chairman Shirelli. Couldn't agree more with you there. Thank you. Any other questions from committee members, comments? All right, hearing none or seeing none. All those in favor of the resolution to approval of the in-house position of Winnebago County Criminal Justice Council Administrator, say aye.
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 Mr. Chairman, do we have
I
to
need to
call
call
the
the
roll?
roll.
We can call the roll, absolutely.
I mean, is
Or we
that
can
the
just note
rules
who
for,
voted
or is
no.
that just for county board?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay, Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Lindmark,
Yes.
Mr. Neighbors,
Yes.
Miss Gorel,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Miss Red,
Yes.
and I am a yes. Okay, so that passes unanimously. Thank you, Marlena, and all the work that you do over there.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yep. Enjoy your St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, take care. You don't have to leave. You can stay if you want. This
Thank
gets
you,
exciting
everyone.
later.
Does it get exciting? I want to hear.
It does. It does. Later on, it will get exciting. So appreciate it. All right, we'll go ahead and move on to our next resolution.
Mr. Chairman, before we move on, can I get a
Yes.
clarification?
Sure, absolutely.
So I'm all about the meeting going a lot faster if it's all possible. So just a clarification from the state's attorney's office, do we have to call the roll when we're voting on something in the committee meeting, or can we just do a all in one like we just did, like we attempted to do?
Andrew, I believe he's still on. And I don't have his voice
I'm
now.
still here.
Yes.
All right, my connection was cutting out. What was the question?
No worries. The question was whether or not we had to do a roll call vote to pass resolutions, or if we can do all in favor, aye, and vice versa.
I believe under Robert's rules, you can do all together. Aye.
So Zoom meeting doesn't matter on a committee level, just only on a county board level?
That's my understanding.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. Mr. Chairman,
Ms. Red, yes, please.
I believe in our training, it was mentioned that we needed to do a roll call.
I believe it was, and we can do a roll call. It's really not that big of a deal for these resolutions, but it would be nice if we can have absolute clarification on whether or not we can just do a roll call or a voice vote. So just for the meantime, we'll just go ahead and we'll call the roll for these resolutions. We only have a few, so it's not that big of a deal. I do understand, we're all used to just calling the voice vote and it goes a lot quicker, but just for parliamentary stakes, we'll go ahead and do the roll call. So I appreciate Mr. Neighbors and Mr. Mueller. So we will move on next to our next item, which is item number F. Not a number, but a letter. Resolution for approval of the Inter-Governmental Agreement for South Beloit High School Resource Officer Program. And Mr. Patrick, I'm not sure if you can speak with this or if Mr. Egler was in attendance for that.
Sure, I can address this, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
This resolution will authorize the renewal of a 2-year contract between Winnebago County Sheriff's Office and the South Beloit Community School District for a school resource officer. It's a renewal of an existing contract with the school district for a school officer, resource officer, and it provides 10 months of service during the 10 months of the school calendar, and it provides a revenue source for Winnebago County.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Thompson. And did this contract, is it the same as it was in the previous 2 years? So it is. Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. So is there any questions from committee members, comments on the school resource officer for South Point? Hearing none, seeing none. Going once, going twice. All right. So all those in favor, I will call the roll. Mr. Booker,
Yes.
Mr. Lindmark,
Yes.
Mr. Neighbors,
Yes.
Ms. Gorel,
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy,
Yes.
Ms. Red,
Yes.
and I am also a yes. The item resolution passes unanimously. Thank you. And we will move on to our next resolution, which is item G, resolution authorizing the county board chairman to amend contract for telecommunications services for inmates of the Winnebago County Jail. And I so move. And parliamentary, I don't think we had a move and a second on the previous resolution either. So, so if we could, I will move that last resolution. And if I can get a second for that, we'll enter that into the record. I apologize. Second by Ms. Gorel, Mr.
The last
Lindmark.
resolution, you moved it and I seconded it.
Did we? I thought that was the first one, but I apologize. I couldn't remember. So, okay. We'll note that it was moved and seconded by Mr. Neighbors. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So we have a second on this one already. Mr. Thompson, I'm sure there's a few people that would like to speak to this issue.
Yes, I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Redmond from the correctional unit, and also Ann Johns, our purchasing director, is also in attendance, and they can explain this very well.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all, Mr. Thompson, Chairman Girl. This resolution is basically an extension of the contract we have with Global Tellink. And there were several of you that were on the board at the time that we had tremendous problems with the previous provider for the inmate services in the jail. What this contract does, in essence, is expands our ability for the education, the training with the inmates. It's a totally different system that is being installed at no cost to the county. I got to thank Ann Johns, Lieutenant Egler, and Tammy Gorel for all their work and Tammy's exact figures that you can see in the county on the revenue side. But one of the big things is when the public or the CJC was built, the county spent money and owned the video visitation system. And recently we found out that that system is at end of life. What we've done with this contract with Ann and Justin is rolled in the video visitation part of this. That's actually going to save the county, and it was unplanned as usual, with the way things go with a building that's 15, 16, 17 years old and is aging. We no longer, as Winnebago County, own that system, and we do not have an outlay of $500,000 to do that. This is on the company, the GTL, on the contract. They are going to service it, maintain it, and we no longer have that outlay. So I believe it's a win-win for all of us. They've been a tremendous partner with us in education. As I say, the substance abuse programs. And one of the provisions of this contract is that they're providing one-on-one inmate tablets for the individuals that we identify. And I spoke with the vice president recently, and it was on a different issue. We are only one of 4 to 5 jails in the entire United States that has 1-to-1 ratio of tablets. Most people have a 5-to-1, 6-to-1, and for obvious reasons, that can cause issues. And I know that the project code, the inmate commissary count, that we're using that wisely. Mr. Thompson knows that, our finance director, and Tammy, we're very, very cognizant of that. And if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Redmond. Ms. Johns, is there anything that you would like to add?
Thank you, Chairman. No, Bob did a great job explaining the program. And it's a contract we originally bid, so we feel real comfortable with this supplier and this vendor, and I think it's a win-win. And hopefully we won't have to come back for another 3 years with this one.
Excellent. Thank you, Ms. Johns. Yeah, Mr. Redmond explained on the phone the other day about this contract and this opportunity that we have. And I tell you, it's a great win. It's a great problem to a great solution to a problem that we were forced to deal with one way or the other. And this really saves us $500,000, if not more. So kudos to Mr. Redmond's staff over there, the jail, Ms. Johns, for coordinating this and coming up with this solution to the problem. So I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yep, Mr. McCarthy.
Okay. Mr. Redmond, can you tell us on the tablets, what icons or sources are loaded on them? Are they to help inmates? Are they, what type of resources, would they have access to?
But absolutely, Mr. McCarthy. There are programs on these tablets which assist them with GED preparation. There are programs on there that assist them with personal issues, domestic violence, any issue that they believe they have. And again, this inmate commissary, the funding itself is built for the inmates, and it helps us reduce the recidivism. Our job training skills that we have, as everyone knows, that we've partnered with Rock Valley College. We're one of the few jails around that have ever started a CNC program into the jail. And one of our inmates that was released is already employed. And there's, as I say, drug, substance abuse, all the things that basically let an inmate get into jail that will help them get out of jail and lead a productive life. And I believe we're all in for that.
Absolutely. And just to piggyback what you said, Mr. Redmond, is that, yeah, they did wrong. Hopefully they know what they did wrong and serve their time. And at the same time, I think it's somewhat our responsibility to a point where they need to educate themselves and to better themselves and maybe to learn something along the ways. And it sounds like with these tablets, even if they have other issues or maybe even health issues too, that this would be beneficial for them. So I'm happy to hear that. So thank you, Mr. Redmond.
Absolutely, Mr. McCarthy.
I did take the tour for those CNC machines, and that's fabulous. So I think what is being done at the jail is just a nice way to work them back into the public.
Right. And if I can add along this lines, and I know that many of you on the board now were members when you passed this contract. There's so many different things happening, and I would invite everyone to please come through the jail. We are the only jail in the United States of America that has the program through the breaking free and different things that we do, the things with John Evans with the jail. There's so many backside things to this that it's almost too voluminous to get out.
So thank you. Mr. McCarthy, any follow-ups?
I'm rather excited on this part here. And Mr. Redmond, maybe you could share just a little bit more about the $14,000 bonus increase. I think this is where not only is it paying for itself, but I think we're getting something in return.
Well, exactly. And the current contract is written that the County of Winnebago, the inmate commissary, well, since changed to the inmate commissary, is a minimum annual guarantee from the phone and tablets of $870,000 per year with a $34,000 signing bonus. And I'm going to give all the credit to your tough negotiator, Ann Johns, who demanded $48,000 versus $34,000 for that, and they took it.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Redmond, and Ms. Johns. Thank you for your efforts in providing information here. They really need to make an educated decision. Thank you both.
Excuse me, if I could just say something, I don't think.
Yes, please.
Hi. If it's always understood, the inmate commissary fund is not just money made from commissary. Isn't it about half of it comes from the tablets? Isn't that right, Superintendent?
I would say it. As I said, when we signed the contract for the $870,000 per year minimum annual guarantee plus $34,000, and Tammy can speak to this. She has all the records. We've been well over $1 million since the contract started.
And the only other thing I was going to say is, why don't you tell them about the law library? That's a savings there as well.
Oh, absolutely. When we negotiated the contract again back in late 17, 18, we were paying for a service called LexisNexis that was roughly $10,000 to $12,000 per year. And that is for the inmates to research their cases and to be able, and you have to provide them with that service. That was rolled into that contract where that's at no cost to us. And for those who had been here a while, you'll remember Mr. Emmer, he said, boy, I wish I could get the same law library that the inmates are getting. It's better than ours.
Excellent point, Ms. Johns. Thank you for bringing that up. And thank you, Mr. Redmond. Any other questions from committee members? All right, hearing or seeing none, we'll go ahead and call the roll. Mr. Booker.
Yes.
Mr. Lindmark.
Yes.
Mr. Neighbors.
Yes.
Ms. Gorel.
Yes.
Mr. McCarthy.
Yes.
Ms. Red.
Yes.
And I am also yes. So that resolution passes unanimously. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Redmond, Ms. Johns, for all the work that you guys do. And if there is anyone from the committee that would like to see our jail, just reach out to Mr. Redmond, or we can have Mr. Redmond reach out to you and we can set up a tour of the jail. You'll be fascinated what they do over there. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Please do.
Thank you, Mr. Redmond. Okay, and we will move on to our next item, which is a overview of Animal Services revised website. And I believe Mr. Frazier is here to speak on that.
I am. Let me just share my screen. Why can I never? Oh, here. So what you're first going to see is what our existing website looks like. So if you think it doesn't look any better, it's the old website. The reason I wanted to give this update is we've been working on updating our website, rebuilding our website really for some time and hoping to do it for even longer. The website as it exists, it's a tool. It helps people connect to the services we provide, answers we can help people find, and of course, both animals available who are available for adoption, but also animals that are here hoping to be reconnected and reunited with an owner. This site has been around for many years. It has been updated and modified and changed, and not always for the better. And what we wanted to do is make sure that the front door to our department, which for a lot of people is our website, is welcoming and engaging, is intuitive, and is a really useful place that people want to go more often than just when they absolutely have to. So what I'm about to show you is just a very, very brief walkthrough of the test site as it exists right now. We're launching this in April, but it is still definitely under construction. So not all the links work, but it will give you an idea of when you look at this old site, give you an idea of sort of some of the new ways that we want to be showing people what we have here at Animal Services and how our department can help residents. So this is what the new website is starting to look like. Much more colorful, much more engaging. There's a refreshed department logo that you'll see on the site, along with a simplification of our mission. Generally, we talk about our mission as being one of providing excellent service to residents and excellent care to animals. And so for a nice catchy version of that, we boiled it down to serving people, saving pets. We serve people by doing things for animals that aren't pets, of course, but pets are the ones that we end up helping to find new homes and happy endings. So when the site is launched, you'll see this is the desktop version. There will also be a mobile version. Actually, more than 80% of the people who come to our website do so through a mobile device. There will be some great information about our hours of service, ways to contact us. We're really excited about this new section, which is still under construction, but folks will have a much easier way to report if they've lost a pet, search for pets found here. And then also people will be able to post if they have found a stray and they're holding it in their neighborhood at their home before bringing it to Animal Services. We're not sure how successful or popular that will be, but during the pandemic, a lot of folks were keeping animals at their home before bringing them to the shelter. And we wanted to try and add a resource that would help people be more effective if they're choosing to do that for a little bit of time, get those animals back home. Down here, you can see, we'll start to talk about areas like registration, welfare and investigations, vaccinations and rabies control, and then some of our spay-neuter programming. And there'll be some other featured animals and some more information. To give you an idea of how those other pages will look, we can start to look, let me go at this a different way. Each of our pages that folks will then navigate to will have a slightly different look than the home page. You will be able to, this is an adoptable animal page, but you'll have this custom filter to be able to sort through both available animals as well as stray animals in the shelter. So you'll be able to narrow it right down to the search criteria that we'll give. You'll also be able to learn about the adoption process, or if this was the stray page, the reclaim process. Fostering has become a big part of what we do, but we really didn't have a ton of great resources on the existing site. So this foster page will be built out to both encourage people to become foster families, and then also there will be resources. These are some generic resources right now, but there will be specific resources that we're writing for people who want to do things like foster animals, who want to volunteer. Volunteers are a big part of what we do. And the website is just going to be a really attractive professional front door for people to come and get information to experience the community or the department. A couple of functionality things. There will be a search bar or a search functionality. You can see that here. So you can search for a keyword. And then really importantly, you can, let me go back to the homepage. We have implemented also the different languages. So you will be able to, if you're coming to our website and you would rather experience our website, trying to navigate and talk in Spanish, you can select Spanish and the entire website is translated automatically. We do have some folks on our staff who speak Spanish, which is really helpful when we need to do that. But until this website launches, you can really only experience our website in English. And we know that there's a lot of folks in the community and also who need to utilize our services who don't speak English at all or who don't speak it as fluently as they speak another language. And we want to make sure that we're accessible to those folks. If there's any questions, I can certainly try to answer them, but I just really wanted to give you an overview of what the site is going to look like and how it'll, a little bit of how it'll function.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Frazier. Any questions from the committee members? I just have maybe one or two. Mr. Frazier, on your website, will there be a link available for people to access state legislation as far as the Animal Control Act and other provisions passed by the state as far as laws go, so they can look and see if there is a violation?
Yep. There's a section that's not yet built out, but it will be to, it'll have a number of resources for investigations and welfare and sort of the law enforcement side of what we do. And what we'll be doing is providing embedded direct links so that people can navigate out to Muni Code and state statute so they can get the direct link to those statutes. We'll call out some highlighted areas in them, but by direct linking rather than copying and pasting, we will, I think, do a better job or a more efficient job at least of making sure that the ordinances and the statutes as they are on our page are as up to date as possible. On our existing page, we attempt to keep up with those by constantly refreshing every time there's an ordinance change. But if we go right out to the the required posting sites for municipalities and for the state, that will assure that we are as up to date as those municipalities and the state are up to date.
Excellent, thank you. And also, would there be an ability for people to actually report possible violations through the website, whether it be through, they can post their name, they can do it anonymously, kind of like the city of Rockford has, call in on a pothole, if they see something, report it.
Right. Yep. There will be a submission form where you can submit. And here, let me share my screen again because I can show you exactly where it is. I'm sorry. Where did it go? Why is it not? Maybe I have lost the, here.
To find, if not, it's not.
So when you go to our animal welfare and investigations page, you go right down here and there will be a form here. You can certainly call us for urgent requests. It'll talk here a little bit about what our officers do and when they do it, but there will be this form to report a welfare concern. And here's that link to the state and city ordinances, which is spelled incorrectly right now.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Frazier. I appreciate it. Those are all the questions that I have. Any other questions from committee members? All right. I don't think we have any other questions, so I appreciate it, Mr. Frazier, for your time this evening.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Look forward to the new website coming out in April. All right. So we'll move on to other matters. Mr. Thompson, is there any other matters to come before this committee?
No, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson. Any committee members have anything they want to share? Anything at all? Mr. Booker, is there any updates that you have?
Nothing solid. I was talking with Chief Deputy Saganek about the inmate. He'll have a more solid number for us before the board meeting.
Excellent. We look forward to that. Thank you, Mr. Booker. All right. Seeing that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
By Mr. McCarthy, second by Mr. Neighbors. All right. This one we'll call a voice vote for. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. Appreciate it. You guys have a great, safe St. Patrick's Day, and we'll see you soon.
Yes. Blessings to us all.
Blessings to us all.
That's right.